Here we go. Hudson and Josh Hughes 3-1 in the round of 16, and then upset the number 3 and 4 seeds Adam Buse and Colin West 3-2 yesterday in the quarterfinals. They won the Diamond State Open in Delaware in December. Please welcome, playing the left wall, number 14 on the SDA, Clinton Liu. And his partner playing the right wall, number 12, Jamie Haycox. The next team is our second-seeded team, and they have not lost a game yet, beating Sam Fenwick and Chris Longman in the first round, and yesterday they took out Mike Ferreira and Will Hardigan. The left wall player represents both Bermuda and the Racket and Tennis Club. He retired as a 12-year undefeated world rackets champion in 2020, and he was the 2010 U.S. Open court tennis champion. He's represented Bermuda in squash since 2002. He is our two-time defending champion here at the Johnson, winning with Ivan Badan in 2020 and Scott Arnold last year. Please welcome number 4 on the SDA Tour, James Stout. And his partner, the right wall player, well, he grew up in the UK. He's the former pro at Round Hill. He just won the North American Open with Zach Alexander and won Sleepy Hollow for a second time, winning this time with Zach Alexander and previously with Mike Ferreira. And one more thing, he's the pro right here at the Heights Casino.
No annoying if I stand?
No, not at all.
You guys ready? All right. First semifinal, Jamie Haycox to serve, Bamber to receive, best of 5 games, love all.
Hello and welcome all of you out there in live streaming land. This is Will Carlin. I'm the host who you may have just seen me on court announcing the players, and we're underway right now. So Clinton Liu and Jamie Haycox are in the light blue shirts and the white shorts, and their opponents are the number 2 seeds, the 2 Jameses, James Bamber and James Stout. Clinton Liu is on the left-hand side of the court for the Leo Haycox team, and Jamie is on the right-hand side of the court, and Stout is on the left-hand side of the court, and Jim Bamber is on the right-hand side of the court. I'm sitting here with my co-commentator, Susie Pierpont, who is a legend in the game in women's doubles. She has 36 women's doubles titles to her name. She's got 6 national titles.
She's
still playing, although recovering now from knee surgery.
But we're happy to have her here with us today. Welcome, Susie.
Although calling me a legend makes me feel a bit old, but I guess at this point, compared to some of the people on tour, I am old.
Well, 36 titles. I think as soon as you get above 30, you move into legendary status.
Well, especially for the women, right? We
Yeah.
don't have 20 tournaments a year, so it takes a lot longer to
Takes
get
a
up
lot
there.
longer,
So it does
yeah.
imply I've been playing a while.
For sure.
I mean, I just started young.
Yes, clearly. I mean, when you were 10, I think, something like that.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, welcome. I'd love to get your initial thoughts as to this matchup here. Clinton and Jamie have been a hot team lately. They won in Delaware. And the two Jameses are a brand new team. So you might think that would mean that the light blue team would be favored, but I think you may feel slightly
1-2 left
otherwise.
side.
I do, although that rally shows you that they're definitely a new team because they couldn't figure out whose ball that was supposed to be. But yeah, I mean, you've got two of the strongest players in the rankings. And
The
one
two
of
Jameses.
The two Jameses, and one of them being, one of the most experienced players on tour, James Stout. So the fact that the other team have been playing together for longer sort of is negated a little bit by the experience that Stout brings to the court and the strength of James Bamber. But form is everything. Like, a lot of us are confidence players. I feel like Clinton
3-1,
is
hand
certainly a
out.
confidence player, and his confidence is sky high at the moment. He played phenomenally well in their
Hand out,
quarterfinal
3-1.
win over Colin West and Adam Buse. I mean, I think he was, by the end of it, hitting winners with his eyes closed. He actually played phenomenally well at the O'Reilly, at my club, at the University Club, a couple of weeks ago, which he won. And he's in great shape. So, he's definitely one of the stronger players on tour at the moment. Jamie's, a lot newer to the game, still a little green. So I do think experience-wise and ability-wise, they're a little outmatched by the Jameses. But we'll see what they can bring to the table. I mean, my prediction is a 3-love win for
Clinton,
the
right
Jameses,
side.
but,
3-2.
the great thing about predictions is they can always be wrong.
There you go. And I think in what you've sort of alluded to there is just the brilliant shot making of Clinton Leo, who is really a gifted shot maker. And you said yesterday his shot making was extreme. He had his eyes closed, but it really was. He was the difference.
It was
in that
outrageous.
match.
I mean, it was outrageous. It was so fun to watch. I will say that right before he went on court, Stout did make a point that he'd noticed how much I enjoyed Clinton's shot making, and he's determined to outdo that in this match. So let's see if he's able to.
Challenge taken.
Yes. So I think either way we're in for some entertaining doubles here.
Well, Leo and Haycox don't seem totally intimidated by the moment. They've actually opened up a little bit of a lead here, although it's very, very early going. But they're playing well.
I will say, so when they played, Adam Buse and Colin West, Buse is a former pro here. It was very much a one-sided crowd, and they didn't seem bothered by it in the slightest. So.
And obviously they're facing that again because if you heard the introductions, but Jim Bamber is the current head pro here at the casino, which I think has been a blessing in terms of the crowd and a curse because he's wanted everywhere. I think the question I've been heard most often is, do you know where Jim is? Do you know where Jim is? Do you know where Jim is? So he's a man in demand even a couple minutes before this match, but he's been able to compartmentalize remarkably well.
It's a great shot from Stout.
One of the things I love about the way Stout does it is watch his racket preparation, and then he just holds it, and then decides at the last minute what to do.
Yeah. Again, I think a lot of that comes from the pace of this game is still significantly slower than the game that he is so good at rackets. And that, the key to hold and deception is early racket preparation. So when your racket's up before anyone else's, it makes that a lot easier.
Wow.
Woo.
3-5.
So for those who might not have played this tournament before, those feet and knees that you see that can sometimes make watching the streaming a little tough. There's a long held tradition here at the casino for the kids to get to sit with their feet dangling over the edge of the court. We're in a sunken court here in the basement of the Heights Casino, and they've always been able to sit front row, feet dangling, and holding onto the railings. And it's a great tradition. There's a fabulous photo on the wall here of the same thing happening about 20 years ago, and I listened to somebody point out to his kids yesterday that he was one of the kids sat in the front row here, which was a really cool tradition, I think.
I hate to tell you that it's longer
4-5
ago than
to the
20
right.
years because I am one of those kids in that picture as well.
Amazing.
I'm also refereeing in the other picture. And I look like I'm about 12 as the head referee is. Yeah, it's been a long tradition and a really fun one.
Wow.
Seeing a lot of Clinton in this back
And out,
right
6-4.
corner.
So I'm assuming, given that you said when you were sort of introducing the players a little bit, that Jamie's newer to the game, Jamie Haycox. And so if you are the two Jameses, is your strategy to play to the right side of the court?
I think so.
A lot?
Someone newer to the game is easier to sort of maneuver out of position. They make different shot choices than someone with more experience. And they're easier to tie up with some traditional doubles shots,
No. Clinton hit a winner.
Wait, he said left. Bamber is calling the left. Wait, no. James, he said left. So I'm not spiced up.
So James has hit, Bamber has hit the ball back at himself there.
Chris, what do you think?
Jamie's
I think
gone
blue
to
wins.
ask for a let. He's asked for a let. Clinton's hit a winner. So Bamber's now arguing that he stopped
you called a
because
let.
Jamie had asked for a let.
Play let. Sorry.
That's a little rough on Clinton and Jamie. They kind of won the point twice.
Don't
there.
call let
One-
next time.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Let's play on. 6-4.
I'd be disappointed to lose that point. Really, it should have been a stroke on Bamber, and then Clinton hit the winner as well.
Yeah, in terms of justice, that seems, I understand why, because there's a lot of confusion, so let's just play left. But I think you're right, Susie. You have it exactly right. It's two different ways of winning the point, and they got nothing out of it.
Yeah. It's hard, though, when you're refereeing and the arguing goes on, to then go back to your to try and make the decision again. It's very hard to remember exactly where everyone was, and the
Left side.
a
Clinton.
let isn't the
5-6.
worst outcome.
Sorry. 6-5.
It's one of the great things in singles about the video replay, which I will tell you I did not think was going to work as well as it has in the singles game, but it's really worked well. And part of it is just being able to see, even you see the decision that you just made. I think referees sometimes are like, oh, no, should have gone the other way.
Yes, let.
Just
6-5.
having a
Do
different
you think it
angle.
takes
and
away any of the
different perspective.
responsibility of the ref?
No, I think, as you may know, I was a head referee for the Hardball Tour, and I've refereed in the semifinals of the British Open, so I've done a lot of refereeing. And for me, knowing that there would be a backup that could correct a mistake actually made me feel much better about being able to make the call. So I considered it actually something that was great. And I love the double system with the referee and
7-5.
two judges because it's sort of majority rules, and I never minded being overruled because what I really wanted was to get it right for the players.
Oh, I hate it. I hate being overruled.
I was like,
I feel like such an idiot.
well, there is that. You don't want it to happen all the time, but I was like, okay, well, I guess I missed that, and let's move on.
Absolutely. I'm
it's
just
like,
teasing. It's a very difficult sport to adjudicate, and the three-ref system to me is the most logical and less
Wow.
likely to fail. So a little lead here
Left
for
side.
Clinton and Jamie. They're doing
8-5.
a good job of, both Jameses are just a little out of position to start this match. They're both pushing up the court, but they're pushing at the wrong times and leaving themselves floating around when they haven't really, they haven't established their length and their width that allows them to have that position.
and credit
8-5.
to Jamie Haycox. He does not look overly intimidated right now.
He doesn't. They haven't really stressed him yet. Every ball that's coming to him is a straight ball. There's no angle involved in it. They're not getting it over his head. It's not breaking into his body. It's not coming at his feet. It's very straightforward for him right now.
6-8. Bamber, your serve. 6-8. Stroke.
Oh, wow.
7-8.
Apparently we're the only ones that didn't like that. All 4 players seem to agree with it. I feel like James could have played that. But I guess if you hit it back to yourself, you don't have to.
Yeah. I felt a little bit like Clinton was trying to hit that down the middle more than sort of back at himself.
Yeah,
and
I don't.
So I think you and I were sort of reading his intent. But
Guess what? Guess
See,
what?
to me, that's more of a stroke than the one before.
We all saw. We all saw it a lot.
Interesting.
Play it.
So our centre ref tonight, Dylan Patterson, and our 2
7-8.
lines are Chris Callis and Ryan Cuskelly. So 3 very seasoned pros making a call with yes let there.
ball went out. You could hear a dull thud.
Right side,
That's actually,
8-all.
there is a back wall tin on this court.
Yes, let.
I think Clinton is feeling a little bit like the refereeing so far has not really gone in his favor, and I hope that just doesn't get into his head a little bit too much, because just doing that, holding it there and waiting for the call is a little bit like, that's a little sign to me that the refereeing's in his head at least a little bit. Understandably, but it's not going to do him any good.
I think it was more just that he knew it was going out.
Left side, 9-8. 9-8.
Well, 8-5 to 9-8. That was that's a big 4-point stretch right here. That's a decisive Tim, because that ball went
9-all.
way out into the gallery afterwards, so it launched off of the 10.
Not quite, yeah. Interesting.
9-all.
That's a bad miss from Clinton. That's the first one this tournament that I've seen from him.
10-9.
It's just a foot further back than he kind of wants to be.
Wow. Great reflex volley from Clinton. Good defense. Good defense. Good scramble. Oh, he missed it. He has not missed many of those this week.
11-9.
He has, and you could. That's a pressure shot, right? Like, he knows that the 2 people he's playing against are both fantastic retrievers and shot makers. He knows it has to be perfect, and it's just putting. That's a great shot. James just apologising for clipping Clinton, but he saw the open front court and wanted to play it.
12-9.
He got it out there fast.
Great shot from Clinton, good finish. I'm not sure Stout's shot went
Hand
where he
out,
wanted
10,
it to
12.
go. I think he was looking for that to go around the angle.
I think it was, yeah. They've gotten a few racket errors out of Clinton on
Clinton, right side.
balls that not only has he been
10-13
playing all week, but actually playing well and hitting winners. So that to me signals maybe a little bit of jitters here. Wow, Stout is really winding up on these balls. This is a bit of a slam bang point that actually worked out for the two Jameses there.
Ooh. So I think Jamie's just arguing
Clinton
here
right
that
side.
that ball would have made it to
10-13.
I guess it kind of hit James in the chest area, so it may have made it all the way around as a boast. So they're playing a let here.
Very fast, hard-hitting point there. Different than most of the rest of the points of this game so far.
Great finish from a relatively bad rally from both teams, honestly. No one really went to the back wall, very linear.
Hand out, 14-10, game ball.
That was bash ball to me, Will. But a great finish, good hands from Bambo.
Last couple of points, it's been, well, we've got 4 game balls now. That is very hard hit. Good defense by Leo.
Balls down.
Okay, well, the team of Bamber and Stout have in fact taken a 1-love lead here. They are the favorite team. They're the number 2 seeds. That wasn't as, it was a little bit sloppy, that game, for both teams. I think there's a little bit of nerves being here in the semifinals. But we will be back in just a minute or so when the players get back. Thank you. Well, Susie, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I've heard you say a couple of times to the players, it's 2 minutes, not 4 minutes between games. And here we are. We're about almost coming up on 30 seconds past the 2-minute break. I see 0 players on court right now.
Yes.
Are they out there? Are they out there?
And I hear the referee asking, where are the players?
Just seeing the Jameses strolling back towards the court. Not sure. I think it was the same team that I was telling last time, wasn't it? Clinton and Jay.
Yeah.
So I think we're at the 3-minute mark now. To be fair, it's very loud in there, and calling time doesn't really, it doesn't really get anywhere.
Right, that's true. We hear it because the referees might, but they may not hear it on the court very well at all.
All right, guys, time.
Well, it'll be interesting to see whether Clinton and Jamie have any strategy adjustment. I actually think the Jameses also need a little bit of. It wasn't as scintillating play as I've seen them have through most of the matches this week. A lot of banging, a little less all court and shot making.
Yeah, it was. I don't think either.
Right,
it wasn't a great reflection of either team's range of shots and ability. I don't think. A nervy first game possibly.
Yeah. It's semifinals. I completely understand that. But I'm expecting the quality to go up significantly as we go along here. Well, not with a shot like that. That's another.
One love.
Clinton has definitely made more errors in the first game here and this little bit of the second game than he's made in the last couple matches, almost combined.
I mean, they were both of them almost completely unforced error-free in their match against Western Views.
Out.
So to start the game with two like that is night and day from where they were at the other day.
Yep. This is what they needed, though, a little bit of a longer point.
Yeah, there's just better length and width and variation going on here.
Hand out. 1-2.
And a good point for Leo and Haycox there.
Coming in. 1-2.
The online scoreboard hasn't quite caught up with.
No, good point. It's 2-1 right now, or 1 serving 2. Well, the magical overhead backhand, which has been magical all week,
has been,
is not working for Clinton right now. That's a worrying sign.
1-3.
And I sometimes think that that's partly, yes, a player's nervous and or cold. It's also one thing that sometimes people don't give enough credit to. It's the other team.
Absolutely. I was just about to say it's one thing. Squash is a game of very small changes, and the difference between an inch or two on the front wall is a foot or two further back on the court, right? So you've got a slightly better team who play slightly different margins, and all of a sudden you're going for the same shot off what appears to be the same ball, but it's not quite, and that's when the errors come in.
I think that's very well said. Another 10. Gosh.
5-1.
Well, what do you do when your shot maker is suddenly having trouble. It's a tricky situation, and I think the only thing you can sort of do is sort of try to stay the course and play longer points. Try to get the ball deeper and look for some opportunities where you really have winners to go for it. That's a good shot off of a very, almost exactly what I was talking about. Here's a real setup.
5-2.
And he executes.
Yeah.
And I think for the moment, he's got to look for those real setups rather than taking the marginal setups that he's been able to hit winners off of all week. Because if Clinton stays relatively cold, it's going to be problematic.
Yeah.
6-2.
And one of the temptations is for Jamie, who's not really the shot maker on the team, is he's going to start to feel a little bit like he's got to do something.
Absolutely.
And if he starts to feel that, this is going to be a very fast match.
Absolutely.
Shot. Stroke.
Interesting.
Hand out, 3-6.
Normally, we think of a stroke when somebody hits it back at themselves on sort of a direct path. That was a angle shot that came off of 2 walls and then came back, but Jim was in the way, so.
He was. He got low though. I'm surprised that was a stroke. Not because of the line of the ball was wrong, but just because he did sort of, you know, clear it to the point of being playable.
Yes, let. 3-6.
I could see from your body language that you did not love that call.
I don't understand why that's a let, and I understand safety, I do, but essentially you're penalising a good length. They've crossed by the rules of the game in the right spot, and the fact that your only choice is to hit the sidewall, you're basically giving somebody, you're letting them off the hook on what was a good length that they should have had to shovel out to the front wall as a cupcake. But
now, meanwhile,
I also don't want anyone to get hit in the head
here. Oh, another let.
Yes,
let. Be a let. Yes, let.
It's a let. It's a let. So we rule by committee. That's why there's 3 of us, Jamie. 3-6.
Well said by our centre ref. That's exactly why we have 3 of them, so that when one gets it wrong, the other 2 can overrule. That's more like the Clinton we've been seeing.
Yes.
4-6.
But I think part of it is they actually have played a couple of longer points here now to get themselves a little into it, looking for positioning, not just super hard hitting either. It's going to be a stroke.
Yes, let.
Oh, wow.
4-6, left side.
I was sure that was going to be a stroke.
What?
I think from the high alto range of your voice.
Well, I was just about to say that to me that shot selection from Jamie is an example of him being the slightly greener player on the court. You know, like he's still making that transition from singles to doubles.
I saw it down.
And
you know, thank you, dude.
As a singles player, your go-to
Clint,
is
right
a
side,
good straight
4-7.
ball from the front of the court like that. But when there's 2 people on there, there's someone standing behind you and you hit it.
Meanwhile, there was a 3-wall that looked like it may have been a winner, and Jamie acknowledged that it hit the tin, and good sportsmanlike play. And James Stout actually made a point of saying thank you to him. Look at that shot. This is a really nice shot by Jimmy Hickox.
Hand out 8-4.
And it's set up by a ball getting round the door,
8-4.
better length, coming at an angle to a player who is less used to seeing that bounce off the back of the court.
Look how far up the two Jameses were on that point.
That's a great point. That, I mean, the confidence in the Jameses now is sky high, right? Like that's.
Watch Bamber hit this.
9-4.
He's sort of moving backwards as he hits it, but he knows exactly where he wants to put it. It's a great shot.
Are we at 9-4? Is that?
I think it's 9-4. Yeah. Oh, the score. Yeah, the scoreboard is behind again.
(10-4).
Yeah, I mean, that's just really smart. Great choice
Nice
from
shot.
Clinton. I like the change up from Stout. Just didn't, it didn't sit
Left
the way he
side,
wanted it to.
10-5.
It just gave Clinton a lot of options, and he saw that gap down the middle.
It's an interesting point, though, because the two Jameses were really taking a lot of pace off that ball, moving the ball to the back of the court, trying a bunch of
1-5.
angles, all the stuff that you talked about that they didn't really do in the first game. And although they lost that point in the long run, I think this is exactly the kind of squash they want to be playing right now.
Agreed. That's really well played from both of them. Bamber's moved Jay up, and then they found that,
12-5.
he's got it back, which is great, but he's so out of position.
12.
Really smart squash. Tough to defend that, even, new to doubles or not.
Yep. Wow. That's a shocking get. Look how far up he is. Look how far up he is here. Boom.
Oh, that is
13-5.
the James Stout special.
And-
the
and-
slice volley drop.
It's unbelievable. And I can't stress how fast this ball goes. A bunch of you who may be watching, you know softball, and I don't know how well you know doubles, but this ball is moving very, very fast. I mean, a whole,
14-5. Game ball.
many, many miles an hour faster than the hardest hit softball singles ball. The reflexes needed for that are just incredible. And it's not just reflexes, it's the reading of the game.
Right.
10. Hand out 6-14.
So again, the scoreboard's wrong. Here we are at game ball. A lot of game balls.
Oh.
That's outrageous.
That's a
Second
fantastic
game
shot
for
by Stout.
Bamber,
And
15-6.
Susie, you said that you
2
felt
minutes, guys.
that
2 minutes.
Bamber and Stout were going to win this 3-love, maybe 3-1.
All right.
I think 3-love is
Okay.
looking
give you more
like
time
it's a
then.
possibility.
So Dylan just giving them a little reminder that it's 2 minutes and not 4 as well, but they're saying that they need the time to get further up the court.
Up and out of the court, and then back down. Yeah.
Exactly. You've got to give a little extra breathing room for those stairs.
Well, they are steep stairs, and the other thing that happens here is there are spectators on top of the stairs
Right.
when the stairs are closed, so they actually have to get off, and then they have to open it up, and so there is a little bit of trickiness. So I will give a little bit of credence to that argument, but I'm not going to give it a ton.
An extra 30 to 45 seconds.
Yes,
The
not an extra 3
full,
minutes.
Yeah, the extra full
How are you
4-minute
doing?
between game break is a little much.
And so Stout and Bamber right now, that second game I thought they played much more the kind of squash we've seen them play when they...
That was the Jameses, right? The first game, nervous, edgy, very I would call it thoughtless squash, right? Like you're nervous, you're getting on there, you're just like, let's just hit it as hard as we can to somewhere and hope for the best. It's like that was a thoughtful game of squash. They were putting rallies together, they were constructing points, there was, different angles, different widths, different paces, and that opened the court up for them. And once you open the court up and they get a few rallies like that where the ball's going in, and they've got that confidence, and you saw it, right? You said they both they took a step further forward. You're toast at that point. It's very hard to come back from them getting that kind of roll going.
And if Clinton, he started to wake up a little bit there, it seemed to me, toward the end of that game, but he's not been hot. He's been on fire this week, and he's not hot in this match so far.
Right. I mean, they haven't really given him a chance to get hot.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is that a matter of him being cold, or is it a matter of that they just really haven't let him go?
Yeah,
and I think the latter.
I think the latter.
Yeah.
I also think when you play a match like he did the other day, like you said, but he was in the purple patch. He couldn't have missed. That could have been a marble going around the court, and he would have been able to hit it. To follow that up against a better team is really hard, and his expectations for himself have probably shifted slightly following that match.
Right.
And you're thinking, I'm playing brilliantly, and it's like, yes, but now you have to do it at it's Mario Kart, and you've just unlocked the next level, and it just gets harder. And so to do that against one of the second seeds versus the 5-8 seed, it's a different game.
Well, they're actually back on court much more promptly. So whatever Dylan said, they must have been listening a little bit.
They just, all they needed was a little reminder. The stairs, like you said, the stairs have actually got nothing to do with it. It's just a reminder.
So I'll be interested to see if the light blue team of Clinton Liu and Jamie Hickox have any sort of new strategy that they're going to try here.
Bamber Stout lead 2 games to love.
One thing I commented on yesterday that I really do like about Clinton and Jamie is that even when things aren't going well, they're giving each other fist bumps. They're staying positive. They're staying encouraging.
Clinton, I've played a few practice matches with Clinton. It's been a lot of fun, but watching Clinton play, he's the kind of partner you just dream of, right? He's supportive. He's positive. He gives it 110% every time. Like, he looks like he is a delight to play with, honestly. So what do you think the team of Liu, Haycock said to each other between games there,
I think they should have been saying to each other is we need to play longer points. We need to get the ball into the back of the court more. We need to not just try to pound it through them. I don't know whether they said that, although I like that first point. It's much more all court. It's a tall order against the two Jameses because they're also very good at that all court game and probably, if I'm being honest, better at it. But I think, when they got into the hard-hitting game, I mean, when the two Jameses are even, 10 feet from the front wall, it's very hard to get it past them. I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah.
They're just extraordinary defensively against hard hitters. So I don't think hard hitting is the way to go.
I agree, though. I think, extending the rallies out and giving themselves a few more options is smart, but the length and the width is certainly something that needs to be a focal
I just
point
don't.
if they're going to get back.
I see them go to the back wall a lot. I don't see the two Jameses going to the back wall very much.
I saw it good. Good.
As annoying as these feet are, they're not not blocking too much of our view of the play, are they? If no one's coming into this back right corner.
I mean, I will show you a little bit that I'm so used to the kids with their feet hanging over that I'm not even paying attention to it. But you are right, there it is.
I mean, that's probably the
Serves
first
away.
time that it's blocked the view of somebody.
Well, that's the commentator's curse. You said it.
I
and it
did,
happens-
I
happens
jinxed
on
it, I
the next point.
Wow.
Oh, no. See, I would much rather see him even hit a lob there and extend the point. That's the slam-bang approach, and I just don't think it's been working for them.
Well, you ask yourself, right, what was that going to achieve?
That's my point.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see what that was going to get him, other than the satisfaction of hitting it hard. That could be a stroke.
Yes, Lat.
I'm giving no let.
No let.
I think he was fishing on that one. There was a big old gap there. Bamba saw it. He didn't quite execute the way he wanted to, but it was the right shot choice.
Bamber's been unbelievable at finding those gaps on that.
He's playing brilliantly. He really is. And he's playing very smart. Bamba's, he's worked on his game in the last season or so, and he's been getting some advice from Clive Leach, and you can see it in the decisions he's making. You can also see it in his foot faults on his serve, but mostly you can see it in his decision making.
Clive, the master foot faulter.
Oh, I mean, both of them is unreal. It's a big box. You can get your whole foot in that box. Circle, whatever you want to call it, but either way, your foot's got to be in it.
Oh.
Fancy.
Hand out, 1-5.
So a tough start for Team Nyack to get on the board only on an unforced error from the Jameses.
Down. 2-5.
Clinton looked back. He was like, I think that went down. And it was. James Stout called it down on himself. Good call. Very sporting.
Regularly voted the most sporting player on the SDA. Although I think after the other night with Khalifa giving his racket to his opponent, James might have be getting a run for his money.
2-6.
That's a lovely shot from Bamba.
So you all probably just heard the referee, but the scoreboard again is lagging behind. So it is 2-6 right now with Bamber and Stout in front here.
That's a really, really nice shot. That is one of the, the kind of shot that Bamba's added recently. Mixed the pace up, he mixed the width up, he mixed the spot. It was great. That's a great ball. And it,
and
this
there it is.
yeah. That's, I mean, he's playing great.
But finding that channel down there, because this is, I mean, he's finding that channel through. It's not
7-2.
really wide open. It's kind of narrowly open, and he's sort of hitting it. You think it's wide open?
I think, Jay's floating around a little bit. Look where he is. He's on the tee.
Well, now, but on that
Right,
last
but
point.
when
There it's open again. He got fortunate that wasn't a winner.
Out.
Ooh, that's unlucky.
Stout, left box. 7-3.
Well, it's a big early lead and 2-love lead for the team in the dark blue shirts. Black shirts? I'm not sure.
Navy. Little navy blue. I will say I would like to give Jay and Clinton props for their, they're always well turned out. Whether the pattern may be, questionable occasionally, but they are always, shirts are tucked in, they always match, they always look good on camera, and I appreciate that. Makes it very easy makes a much more watchable match when it's very clear which team is which.
Yeah. Yesterday, I can't remember what match it was, but the only thing that was different were the shorts.
Yeah.
White shorts versus black shorts.
It's really hard to follow when it looks like that. Like, the ball's moving very quickly. I don't need to try and figure out which team hit it as well.
9-3.
So I appreciate that they, have gone out and got some really nice matching shirts.
Well, the Heights Casino is an all-white club most of the time, but I do think that in doubles, even if you're an all-white club, having teams with opposite colored shirts makes a huge difference.
Look at this, 3 different spots
10-3.
here from Stout. It's great doubles.
Good recovery. Oh, wow.
Great shot, great finish from Jay.
Well done.
Down. Thank you. 11-3.
Oh, it was down.
Oh, yeah, I saw Bamber say it was down.
Yeah, I guess he had it otherwise, right? That's why. 11-3. All right.
Well, good prognostication. I'm giving you credit a little bit early. The match is not over, but I'm not really seeing the comeback from 11-3 and 2-love down.
I don't think the Jameses are going to go walkabout the way that Cusk Pilly have a tendency to at this point.
Oh, wow. Did you threw some shade there, didn't you? Now that match is still coming up. You're going to get a chance to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that match. I think it's going to be one of,
Wow. That was not down. That was in the neck.
12-3.
I mean, it's not really a position where you think that shot is going to...
It's not, but Bamber's ball there that meant Jay coughed it up just opened up the whole front of the court, right?
Yeah.
Like, anytime there's a winner, you always want to look at what came before it.
Yeah. Oh.
Ambitious.
Handout, 4-12.
But at 4-12, you might as well have a crack.
Wow. And if you have a partner who's going to hit winners like that.
4-13.
Nice little came around the side of it. Got the spin going. Great shot from Joe.
Clinton left side. Left side, Clint.
Yeah, well up to the
5-13.
stroke when you can just put it back like that. Great ball.
Yep. Sorry. Okay. 5-13.
Well,
14-5.
we are at match ball.
Match ball.
And Susie, when this match finishes, I'm going to let you close out because I'm going to go down and try to interview the winners.
Okie doke.
Is there any question you're dying for me to ask them?
Game and match.
No,
Well-
I'm sure you've got it covered. You're much more experienced with this than I am. All right, so Will Carlin heads down onto court to a little post-match interview. But our winners today in the semi-final are James Bamber and James Stout in a very decisive 3-love after a, probably a nervy first game. They really ran away with it. And coming up after this one, we have the second semi-final of top seeds Chris Callis and Manic Martha against Ryan Cuskelly and Cameron Pilley. So Stay tuned for a little post-match interview between Will Carlin and Heights Casino head pro Jim Bamber and Racket and Tennis Club head pro James Stout. And then we will begin the second semi-final of the evening.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Okay, everybody. Well, we're going to do a new thing. We haven't actually done this at the Heights Casino a lot, but we are going to interview the players after the match. So first, I want to say to the two Jameses, congratulations. Nicely done. You've not lost a game yet in this tournament. Okay, you have any explanation for how this is happening?
Well, always the first game, we always seem to struggle and just, find our form, find our rhythm. But, once we come out in the second and third game, I feel like we know where to put the ball, and it's just fun. I don't know what's happening.
Well, particularly for you, Jim, you're running this tournament, you're the head pro here, and I've seen players or the spectators talking to you just before the match.
Yeah, it's a lot. But this club means a lot to me, and I just want to make sure everyone's having a good time. So, that's what's really important, and it's just really fun to just step away from that for an hour and play a really good match.
James, I want to talk to you quickly about your reflexes at the front of the court. 4 or 5 times in that match, you're standing, I think, 10 feet from the front wall, and they're hitting at you 100 miles an hour. Is this rackets that allows you to have the ability to read that?
The rackets definitely helps. I'm also putting myself into that position like 5 to 10 times over the course of the match, which isn't quite as impressive. It's just, I'm used to the ball moving quickly, right? Not taking too big of a swing. The rackets helps, but playing at this level pretty often, you learn to see it quickly.
And just let's talk about, you're now in the finals. Congratulations. And I guess what I'm wondering is, what are you going to do? Are you going to watch the next match? Are you just going to go take care of your bodies? Do you have any thoughts?
Probably going to referee the match. It'll be good to watch and see, like, both of these teams, together individually. We've played them a lot, so there's nothing that's going to surprise us. But it's just, you're hoping to pick up on a couple little things here and there.
Great. Well, congratulations. You're into the final. The two Jameses. Could we give them a big hand, everybody? Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.
if you want.
Welcome to the second semifinals of the 2023 David C. Johnson Memorial Squash Tournament here at the Heights Casino in Brooklyn. I'm Will Carlin, I'm the host. I would like to introduce our first team. Our first team is a third-seeded team. They just won the Oxbridge tournament without losing a game, and here they also haven't lost a game yet, beating Elroy Leong and Chris Binney in the first round, and Sam Khalifa and Kyle Martino last night. The left wall and left-handed player was in the top 20 in PSA singles for 45 out of 46 months between 2015 and 2020. He's a two-time Australian national singles champion and was world softball doubles champion. Please welcome number 9 in the SDA Pros, Ryan Cuskelly. His partner on the right wall won 13 PSA World Tour titles, was ranked as high as number 11 in the world in singles, and still holds the world record for the fastest hit squash ball. He has 3 Commonwealth Games gold medals in doubles and mixed doubles, and he also has a world title, conveniently, with his partner, Ryan Cuskelly. Please welcome number 9 in the SDA rankings, Cameron Pilley. The next team are our top seeds. They are the SDA's top 2 players, the number 1 ranked team, and together they are 4-time winners of the Big Apple Open and won 4 titles in a row at the end of the 2022 season and 11 titles overall. Here this week they have not lost a game yet, beating Nathan Snyder and Joseph Hughes and Ricardo Lopez and Lockie Monroe. The right wall player was a captain at Princeton, has won Doubles Team of the Year, the North American Open, and is currently ranked number 1 in the world in doubles. He was our 2019 Johnson Doubles champion with Zach Alexander. Please welcome one of the top seeds, Chris Callis. And the left wall and left-handed player will go down in history as one of the best ever left wall players. 4 times Team of the Year winner, 4 times Player of the Year, 5th all-time in titles with 36, and has been number 1 4 of the last 5 seasons. Unhappily, he has announced his retirement at the end of this tournament. Unhappily, at least for us. Maybe happily for him. So let's enjoy the heck out of him while we can. Please welcome the number 1 player, Manek Mathur. And Manek, we have 2 members who would like to make special introduction to you. I'd like to welcome Meredith Quick and Will Bond. You want me in? Still, of course, I'm next to the tallest person. With that, let's get this match going. Thank you. Absolutely. Nice job, Will.
It's too much in the way when I'm standing right here. Okay. That's fine.
But I understand.
No, I can do it here.
All right, welcome to the second semi-final of this evening with top seeds Chris Callis and Marnik Mathur versus Ryan Koskelly and Cameron Pilley.
It's just
If you tuned in a little early to the start of the match, you'd have caught the casino is very nice. Thank you to Marnik for his many appearances here and his contribution to the game of doubles overall.
23 Johnson, Callis and Mathur to serve, Koskelly and Pilley to receive.
Announcing his retirement at the end of this event. So this is either his last or his second to last match as a pro.
And I think, Susie, that one of the reasons they did it now is that this match is a potential, it's
not a given.
Unclear. It's not a given that he's going to be there in the finals tomorrow. So they wanted to do some of the, some of the recognition while he's still here. Now, of course, that may fire him up. Could also fire up the other team too. So I'd like to ask you, what's your pick? We've got two Australians who are hot. They've been playing doubles now for a number of years since they retired from the singles tour. They've gotten better and better and better. And we've got Manik and Chris, who are definitely the #1 team, but Manik may or may not be moving totally as fluidly as normal. So are you picking an upset, or what are you doing?
I could see the orange team winning this.
Oh, wow.
They've been pushing them. They've had a number of close matches. I reffed one of them at the New York City, at the Big Apple Open.
Yep.
And I think it was 3-1, but it was just patches in the match where the Australian team had really figured out how to play this in a different way than most people take them on, right? They don't play the let's chip it down the middle to two backhands and see what happens. Koskelly did a really good job of taking on Marnik down the left wall as a fellow lefty. And they showed signs of having a plan that can beat this team. So as you said, I think Marnik's struggling a little bit with an injury after the NAO, where he was clearly not moving as well as he usually would. So I think we're looking at a long and close match, but I definitely could see an upset here.
3-1.
Very interesting. One of the things about Ryan Koskelly on that left wall is, he's sort of even in singles, he was a scrappy player who is not intimidated by anybody. #1 in the world, multiple world championships, no problem. I'm going to play you straight up.
Absolutely.
And I think that served him well in doubles because he's not really intimidated by anybody.
Yeah. It also, honestly, it makes this matchup one of the more a really good match to watch. Because sometimes when you have people taking on Marnik and Chris, and you understand the tactic of hitting down the middle and trying to keep it away from such a big and dangerous forehand, but it can be kind of tough to watch sometimes. Whereas when these guys play and it's straight up and it's a full court game, it's been really entertaining. So hopefully we're in for a great match here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Well, we've seen Manik now get two unbelievable winners in a row. The first one was an overhead into the nick, and that one is a 3-wall. And the #1 team has started off fast and hot. They're up 5-1. I know it says 0-0
Very
on your
quickly.
screen, but it is in fact 5-1 right now. And that's going to make it 6-1.
6-1.
So it's almost like they have the desire. Yes, you think you upstarts are going to be there? Let's just tell you what it's like.
Well, I also think, if you're not feeling 100%, then go out hard and fast, hit these great balls, and see if you can just get that early break. And it's a lot easier to hang on for a win if you get the good start versus having to sort of grind for a game and a half to establish a lead.
Out. Left side, 7-1.
Again, I think this is probably going to be a good example. The Australian team played very well yesterday. They had a very comprehensive 3-love win.
8-1.
This is a different level.
Yeah. Just like you said in the last match, where little things all add up to a big difference, right? So, and this is a little bit of a shocking start. This is very strong from Callis and Matt.
It is, and we've had some bad, not bad, silly errors from the Australian couple there. This is the first great good rally we've seen.
Oh.
Out of court.
The other thing I just want to ask you about this, because I found, particularly in my own career, there were times when I thought I was really poised for an upset. And so I had sort of put, completely self-generated pressure on myself that this is it. This is the real opportunity here. And those are some of the worst matches that I ever played. And I think there's something about when you have sort of higher than reasonable expectations, or you're thinking something along those lines. Sometimes it obviously works out great because you have to have belief, but it's a difference between belief and sort of an expectation / hope that maybe you're there. What do you think? Anything to that, or you think I'm nuts?
No, I think how you approach it, everyone sort of approaches those opportunities differently. I think, when you
11-1.
We all know when we have an opportunity, right? You know when you've got a good draw versus a tough draw. You know when you've been playing well enough to beat somebody and you've been training hard and you feel good. Like, we all have those moments when you're like, I'm due an upset. We all have those moments as well when you look at your draw and you're like, oh, damn, that's not the draw I wanted. I might be due an upset in the wrong direction here.
Yeah.
So, the intrinsic pressures and stresses that we put on ourselves are a huge part of this game. Like, the mental side of it cannot be disregarded. It's one of the reasons that players like, on the singles side, like Nick Matthew and Laura Mazzaro were just so good. Like, their mental, their strength was unmatched, really. Especially, thinking about Laura Mazzaro, just unbelievably difficult to beat, and always took an opportunity when she could. And I think, Cameron and Ryan, I don't think that they're going to buckle under that kind of opportunity, but it might take a while for them to play their way into finding a rhythm that will allow them to capitalize on that.
Well, it is so far in this game. It's only their second point that they've won. And we're nearing the end of the game if Manik and Chris actually win this game.
Great ball. I was just about to say that rally up until that point was a good example of, Kusk taking Manik on down the left wall and not being afraid to do that. Unfortunately, double-edged sword, as you occasionally will leave Manik with the opportunity to just hit good balls.
Well, rare error, but the
3-12.
score is now only 3-12. So it's we've played 15 points, but the majority of them have gone to the number 1 seeds, who are both co-ranked right now at number 1 in the world. And that makes it 13-3.
3-13.
Or 3-13.
mean, when you've got a
Left side,
10-point
4-13.
cushion, you can go for a few things, and if you make a tin, it's kind of the only time it's acceptable.
Well, I also think sometimes if you have that big a lead and you're comfortable, like, let's get the 3-ball into a groove. Let's see if I can't.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you know, you've still got 2 more games to go. You want to try and find a good rhythm with all of your shots, and if it's there, like, have a go at it. And the same for the Australian team right here. Like, you know, this game is going to be very hard to get back into.
All right, sorry. Stop play.
That ball was out, no? The serve was out.
Second serve.
You know, they're going to want to spend the last few rallies of this game for how they want to begin the next game, because they don't want to carry on like this. I think we can safely say it's a great shot.
Well, there's also something,
Ryan
you know,
from the right,
the point on the last
5-13.
where they sort of played through what was a fault, and then they're sort of joking. Cameron had a big smile, and I feel like that may have, that point may actually wind up being beneficial for them.
You think it broke the tension a little bit?
Break the tension a little bit, yeah.
Nice ball. Oh, wow.
Wow, indeed.
14-6 game ball.
Boom, and he just makes it die too.
Yeah. I will say, you know, doubles is definitely a game that favors
Callis and Mathor.
Favors some larger
15-6.
players, and it's going to take up a lot of court. And that was a good example of when you're tall and you're rangy, is that you can pick off balls in different spots that someone else might not be able to. But very straightforward first game for top seeds there.
Yeah, we're predicting a close match, and we still may get it. The Australians are going to have to wake up a little bit, though, and tighten things up. But on the other side of the ledger, Chris and Manic, they look good. They're ready to go.
Off to a great start. I think if I was either team there, I'm going to go back on court as if it's 0-0. You know, like that game wasn't really a reflection of either, you know, of the competitive level between the two teams.
Yeah.
So sort of mentally, if I was Chris and Manek, I'd be thinking, right, the match starts here, kind of thing. It's just that now it's, you know, best of 3 rather than best of 5.
Right. So for them, it's 1 in the bank, and now let's forget about it.
Exactly.
Like the savings account.
Yes.
And I'll come back to it later.
Great analogy.
And
Savings account.
For the other two, you know, okay, that was a bad game. Got it. Nerves are out. We know we can play better. Let's start at 0-0 here and just work our way into it. And we've seen some teams in this tournament who have come back from 2 love down, and I don't think they've actually come back to win, but they've come back to force a 5th. So you're not out of it. And as you've said to me all week long, 15 points, it's a long road.
It's a long way.
And so I think there's going to be ample opportunity here for Ryan and Cameron to really sort of get going here.
Agreed. And hopefully that's what we see as we're coming up into this next game.
Well, I hope so, because I've been sort of thinking that this match was one that I was really excited to see. And, of course, it's exciting to see Manek and Chris play well, always. And Manek hit 3 or 4 amazing shots like he always does. But I really thought we were going to see something super competitive. And I still think we might.
I think we will. I'd be very surprised if we don't, but that was definitely not a great start. Not the start the Australians were looking for.
All right, now let's see if Dylan has worked his magic with these guys, because that's 2 minutes. And, well, we've got 3. Do we have a 4th?
Was that a toe? No, that's a toe. We've got 3.
That's a toe. We've got 3 out of the 4 on the court. Now we've got 4.
It's always 1 in the middle and 2 on the different sides, because you make the rule at the same time. There's no feel. It's just
And these first few points here, I think, are going to be telling about everyone's attitude. If we just have a bunch of quick winners by the team in black, the number 1 seeds, that'll say one thing. And if we have some longer points that I think might be more interesting, that'll tell us something else.
I mean, I think, you know, Team Australia definitely needs to focus on some longer points, right? You know, if watching any of Manek's recent matches or anything to go by, like that's, you got the pressure needs to be applied. It needs to be built. You know, he's very good at short rallies. He's very good at taking quick opportunities as they come to him. His firepower is unmatched. So there has to be that. You know, you've got to split the team. You've got to get them moving. I also think we're going to see probably a pretty relentlessness against directed at Chris.
Hand out. One love.
Maybe not. Wow. Oh, just querying if that was good or not.
I think Cameron thought it might have been down, but it's not. It was good.
I think even from our side, that looked pretty good. Perfect, maybe. But, the number one seeds in that rally just showing real patience and waiting for that opportunity, and Manik just, with his trademark, very, very strong finish.
Well, it sounds like somebody in the crowd caught that ball on the fly, so that's great. Nicely done, whoever that was.
Good example of why we make the kids in the front row wear goggles, right, Will?
Yeah. Well, I'm a big proponent of goggles. Some who know my story know that I was number one in the U.S. when I got hit in the eye. I'm the reason that eye guards are required for adults in the U.S. because that ended my stay at number one.
Just letting you know.
So I'm a big proponent of goggles and glad to see them all wearing them and the kids in the front row.
2-all.
So that was a no let there for Manik. I agree. I wouldn't have given a let. I guess both side refs, which is Jamie Haycox and James Stout, giving no lets, and our centre ref giving a let, but I think the ball had gone by him. That's a great get from Ryan. Chris's backhand drop shot is one of his strongest attacking shots. He plays it brilliantly, especially under pressure, and it's won himself and Manik a lot of matches.
Wow.
Great get there. What were we saying about him being slightly injured and not moving so well?
I mean,
I don't know. We might just be
3-2.
making that up.
Four strides. Just he certainly doesn't look injured right now.
He does not. Great gap, great finish.
He's looking very fluid too. You know how sometimes if somebody's feeling something, they can look a little herky-jerky, but he's not. He's looking.
I mean, if you're nursing something, your feet don't quite move right because you're cautious, which means it's very difficult to time the ball the same way. It's just like even a niggling injury can have, a very broad consequences on your whole game, but seems to be doing just fine.
This is a great return by Ryan Cuskelly, though, off the serve. The reverse court winner. Nicely done. Was that good?
No.
4-3.
So going pace for pace, which, like I said, is like not usually the tactic for a team playing Manik, but it's always makes for a more enjoyable matchup.
Well, the Australians are capable of hitting with anybody, just in terms of sheer power.
5-3.
I think, Will, correct me if you think I'm completely off base here, but they seem to be playing a little bit for Manik's errors.
Yeah, you said at the beginning you thought they were going to play to Chris, but I think they're playing to Manik.
6-3.
Let's tempt him.
Well, look, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Chris Callis does not get enough credit for how unbelievably good he is. I couldn't do what he does. He goes out every tournament and he gets on the court knowing that they're going to try and hit every single ball to him, and he has to hold up on that, and he has to, do his job and stay out there and grind and finish rallies because they might be the only opportunities they get to finish the rallies. And he does that every tournament for 4 or 5 matches. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't mentally do that. And he doesn't get enough credit for how good his finish is on certain shots, because they're, Manik's finish is so spectacular, but Chris's backhand drop shot, his forehand drop shot, they're excellent.
Well, meanwhile, the Australians are keeping with what looks like their game plan, which is to absolutely crush it and to not be scared to hit it to either player. I think they are maybe hitting a little bit more to Manik, but it's clear they're not scared about hitting it either way. They're going to hit it.
Yeah. They're seeing the spots on the court and playing as if they would play any team where the court's opening up.
Well, this is fun to see. We'll see how well the number 1 seeds handle this. The points are going to be interesting here.
A little frustrated racket twirl there from Manik.
Right side.
This is more like the game I was
8-3.
expecting to see, after that first game. This is kind of
this is quite a turnaround here. I mean, and you got to give the Australians some strategic credit here, too. So just, I know on the score it says 3-2. It's actually 8-3 right now for Koskelly and Pilley. So the scoreboard is inaccurate again. They've already got 2 more points than they did the entire first game, and they're up here.
Thank you.
That's another error.
Yeah. 9-3, left side.
So the score was 3-2, and now it's 9-3. That means that we're talking about 7 points in a row here for the Australians. And really, it was when you started to notice their strategy of not being afraid to hit to Manik and maybe playing for the errors, and also an increase in the pace overall. And they've, I don't mean to say suckered, but they've drawn Manik and Chris into a little bit of a hard-hitting match. And, they're one of the best hard-hitting teams, but against the Australians, I don't know that that's how they want to play.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Agreed. The Australians are relatively unfazed by the pace. I don't know if that's a reflection on them in life or on court, but
kind of.
I think certainly, I don't know Koskelly as well, but Cameron is relatively unfazed by everything as far as I can tell.
You're exactly right. He's one of the best guys. I mean, he's nice and he's kind and he's very laid back. Ryan is not quite as laid back, but definitely with the attitude of take things as they come, right?
Ryan from the left.
Cameron's backhand pace
Ryan,
from the front is
10-4.
fantastic.
Was it you who was saying yesterday you thought he could play left?
He could definitely play
wall?
left wall.
Yeah,
definitely. At this level, I mean, not obviously he could play left wall in pro-ams and in member guests and whatever, generally. But at this level, I definitely think he can play left wall if he wanted to. Cameron calling that on himself, very fair.
Although Manik was definitely looking for him to call
Chris.
it.
He was not going to be happy if, but
Was that a follow through or the ball? I didn't see how he got hit.
Chris just giving him a tap because really that's Chris's serve caused that one because Ryan has to hit that.
All right. 5-10.
Got to give him room to hit it. It's the disadvantage of being a larger person on a doubles court is that there's more of you to get in people's swings.
That's going to be out.
Left side, Manik, 5-11.
I think I've seen more balls go out on the back wall during this tournament than in any other men's SDA tournament that I've been.
Yeah,
I've refed or been
weird.
part of.
And the temperature is not. I mean, it's cold outside.
I think it's a function of where you're trying to get the high point of your ball to be based on the beam at the front, honestly. Because obviously, normally, great point. You want that highest point to be in the highest point of the court, but that's not really available to you here. So the higher point of the ball is further back in the court, and it leads to more.
I just wanted to point out that was Chris doing what you said earlier, is that he saw an opportunity, ended the point. As you said, he doesn't get a ton of credit for it. Look at that. See, that's flashier, right? Just blasting it down for a clear winner. So Manek is going to be remembered for that more than Chris is going to be remembered for his beautiful drop shot.
Exactly, right? We've already moved on from Chris's drop shot, and because Manek's is just, it's spectacular, but you can't, sometimes it's the little things. Great spot, straight at his feet.
Right side, 8-11.
It's hard to beat Cameron's pace, but part of that was just placement because Cameron was ready for that wide court. You know, if Manek had hit it sort of over toward the side wall, Cameron would have been all over it. But he put it
Right in his left hip.
On his left hip, and just too far to get that racket all the way back over there and around. That was dangerously close to being in the crowd.
Hand out, 12-8.
12-8, well, the number one seeds have made some inroads here from a big deficit, but 12-8 is still a pretty significant lead in this, getting to the end stages of this game.
Or was that the walkabout period?
Putting a ball into the tin isn't going to help. So 13-8. What a nice turnaround by the Australians. Again, as we had talked about, unfazed by game one. New game plan. Let's see how that works. And it's worked beautifully.
Right side, 14.
I mean, it is significantly warmer in there today than it has been. We've got a lot of people crammed in there. A lot of people have shown up to support Manek and, to be here for his last event. We've got the entire crowd is sold out. Every seat is taken, every wall spot is taken, and then we've got, it's too deep on there. So I think the temperature is probably a little higher, which is contributing to this, the ball flying out the back. But when you're hitting it like that, it's going to stay pretty toasty.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Ryan from the left, 14-9.
And although Chris and Manek won that point, I think they need to go back and rethink. They don't want to just pound with the Australians. It's their advantage, if there is one, is really incremental doing that game, and their advantage playing a full court game is much higher.
Agreed.
This is just fine by Cameron and Ryan.
Just looking at Ryan's body language as well, it's like there's a little bit of the come on, bring it on stance to Ryan on the left wall that, is a great way to approach this match.
10-14.
But you probably want to try and take that out of play. A little fist pump there from Manek. It's a great shot. Dear. All right.
I mean, when they're hitting the tin, they are really hitting the tin. I mean, these balls are flying off the tin.
Tin replacement.
11-14.
11-14. Nice coverage, but great shot by Cameron. Really well done. I'm very impressed with the Australian game plan there. And they drew Manek and Chris into a hard-hitting game. They sort of, again, I keep wanting to say they suckered them into it, but they drew them into it. Whether it's suckering them into it or not, they drew them in. They got them to play that game, and that's not an easy task to just get them to want to just wallop the ball. And I think one of the reasons they get drawn in there is that Manek and Chris are used to being able, if you draw us in, fine. We're going to pummel you.
I was just about to say that it's like, oh, great, this is how we would prefer to play. Like, we'd like to keep the pace high. We're good at this. And then it's like, well, what's plan B if this isn't working? And that's what they're going to have to figure out right now. What is plan B if blasting the ball around the court isn't the game plan?
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they do here because they really need to come up with something different. And I think their all-court game, both of those players have a better all-court game than the two Australians. So if they can get away from the pounding and move the ball around the court, that will be a better strategy for them. But the Australians are not going to go down easily. They are. And I'm really impressed with how they turned around after the first game.
Yeah.
15-6. They weren't really in it. They weren't playing that well.
They weren't. I don't know if the gap between their warm up and getting started, maybe they lost a little focus, or they need to kick up the butt. But that first game was not reflective of the level they've been playing at this season, and the end of last season, and we've just seen much more what we've come to expect from that team, and the reason why I predicted that there's a possible upset on the card too.
And you said at least 4 games, so you've already hit that. And you said at least 4, likely 5, and a possible upset.
Yeah.
So we're right on track with your prediction so far.
I'm going to stick with my 4 and an upset. That's what my prediction is here.
4 and an upset.
Yeah, I think the Australians are going to carry that momentum. They looked good. They looked confident. I love their bring it on attitude and how calm they are. Like it's very there's two attitudes that are very hard to combine, and yet they do.
Yeah.
All right, time.
Well, they've been a good partnership. They're also good friends. So you don't always have to be great friends to have a good partnership, but they are good friends. They've won the world softball doubles title together. They've won Commonwealth Games gold medals together.
I also talking to both of them over the course of the last couple of seasons, they're really enjoying this. They've really loved getting more into the doubles, playing the tournaments, having success with it in a way that not all singles players come into doubles and get to that point where they love it. Some just, it's too frustrating. Some it's just, they don't enjoy having to start afresh and learn something new. And I think probably both of these guys to start with were a little bit like, what is this? And now they've got the bug, and their enjoyment of it shows.
Love all.
I think there's a lot of wondering who Callis is going to pair up with next season with Monik being gone. But for now, he still has his partner, and he'll be wanting to make the most out of this tournament.
Well, I think he would be a very hot commodity.
Like I said, I think he's one of the best players out there for very different reasons than we usually give people credit for. Like obviously Mudgee was in a class of his own, but Chris to me is a similar kind of mentality, like the physicality of it and the mental toughness of it and the positioning, and just it's not flashy and flamboyant the way that a Paul Price or a Clive Leach or a Manik Martha is, but it's so effective and it's so hard to beat.
Handout 2-1.
I don't know Chris's career stats, but I would hazard that they're probably up there. Manik's at 36 titles total.
Well, 11 of those are with Chris. So Chris has those. He's won obviously a number of other titles with other partners.
Did you say that Manik's 5th overall with the titles?
Yes, 5th overall.
Behind Gary, Damien, Ben.
Todd Binns.
Oh,
Yep.
Left side.
Didn't know that.
Yep.
3-1.
It's a lot of Australians. Jesus. Looking at 2 more who could be contenders up there. Maybe not. I guess Damien started winning titles when he was about 20, didn't he? Manik's mum made the trip all the way from India to come and watch him this weekend, be here for his last event, which love to see that.
Yeah, it's wonderful, except for the fact that means that it's real, that he's really retiring, which
it is. you know, I think, you know, Mike described it this morning as like sort of a bittersweet moment because,
Just let.
you know, as you're sort of exiting, you're reminded of all the reasons
Left
you
side,
started and all the
3-1.
reasons you've enjoyed it, and it can sort of put a rose tint on the decision that you've made. Because, you know, it's tough when you call time. You have that moment when you just realize that you're done, and then when it becomes real, it's difficult. And, you know, credit to him for announcing it ahead of the tournament, because the pressure that he's under right now, that I'm sure he's feeling, whether he knows he's done or not. I think he'd really like to go out on a high note. You know, his mum's in the crowd, his girlfriend's in the crowd. Lots of his friends are here this evening. Obviously all hoping that this isn't the last match.
I mean, the storybook ending here is that we have the current pro of the Heights Casino and one of the best players ever in James Stout as a team, the number 2 seeds, playing the number 1 seeds. Here he is, playing the number 1 seeds, Chris Callis and Manic, you know, in the last match as the retirement match. And it's almost there, you know, you just hope and you'd expect.
That's a classic
that's a great
Manic
shot.
rally, classic. He's opened up the court, and this is why Chris is such a great partner for him, right? Like, he knows what Manic's looking for there. He's given him the space to come all the way across to his side.
He just moved back and out of the way, Chris did.
Yep, didn't even second guess it. He knew exactly what was coming. That's a really classic Manic. Funny, interesting. So we talked yesterday a little bit like how
3-2.
Pili's positioning on the right wall, and I find it a little odd. I'm watching Manic and I'm seeing them. It's a little bit of a reflection. They both take that like sideways stance, and I'm wondering if maybe that's where Pili sort of picked that up from.
Ball is down.
That's interesting. I mean, you know, physically they're similar players too, both long and lean with long arms,
What do you think?
making it hard to get over and to hold those positions. It could be.
Or maybe just when you know, with the style of play, you naturally kind of end up sideways on, looking for that middle ball.
Four, 3.
So you probably heard the referee there. It's 4-3. So 1-all in games. Again, we have the number 1 seeds, Chris Callis and Manic Mather, who are playing against the 3-4 seeds, Ryan Cuskelly and Cameron Pili. The Australians, the number 3-4 seeds, are in the orange shirts. Number 1 seeds are in the all black. And the score is 1-all.
Left side, Callis. 4-3.
And 4-3 playing let.
So a number of Manic Martha recently joined the university club where where I work, and there's a number of our members in the crowd tonight who wanted to come and support their friend. So looking forward to having him around as an amateur, I guess. Wonder who'll get him for the club champs.
Well, the streaming crowd probably didn't hear it, but when
5-3.
Will Bunn and Meredith Quick came out to say some words to Manic, Will Bunn said, I'm really here just to introduce everybody to my next year's partner for the Pro-Am.
For the member guest, right?
For the member guest.
Yep.
The member guest, yeah, the Oz.
Left ball. 5-3.
So, and
Yes, I imagine those invites will increase tenfold once he's officially off the SDA rankings.
well, I love the fact that Will Bunn put in his request, you know, in front of a big crowd and early. That's, you know, it's
Marking his
why not do that?
territory there.
I mean, Meredith comes out and says just a bunch of very sweet, kind words, you know, as she is
Monic
always.
left side, 5-4.
And then Will just says, yeah, no, I'm here to announce my partnership, my Pro-Am partner.
It was a very nice moment.
That was great. It was great. Very sweet.
So Chris just making an uncharacteristic backhand volley drop error there, just clipped the tin. I asked Manek earlier today sort of what were his favorite wins and what were his hardest wins. And he said one of his hardest wins was last year's Kellner, where himself and Chris beat James Stout and Scott Arnold in the final. And I wasn't surprised to hear him say that. It was one of the more brutal games of doubles that I've seen. And how Callis survived that one, I'm not sure. Because at one point I thought he was going to fall over. But he hung in there. And honestly, at a point when I'm pretty sure he had white noise in his ears and his eyes were, going narrow with the vision, he managed to hit 2 perfect backhand volley drop shots.
Well, as you said, that's really one of those shots that, whether or not he gets credit for it or not, it's one of his best shots.
I think both the Australians thought that backwall boast from Manek was out.
And they're appealing it now.
I don't really see how it would have made the front wall if it hadn't been.
We can't see it from here.
And he's saying it's out on the back wall, but obviously the referees can't see that.
We can't see it from up here. Let's play let.
It's good.
The kid's feet felt the ball close, so we're going to play a let. We have some evidence on the left side. Thank you, kids. 5-4.
I have a feeling that some of those kids very earnestly turned to him and said, I felt that, I felt it.
Manek said his second hardest win was in
that one's out.
In Cleveland, playing with Ben Gould against Damian Mudge and Victor Berg.
Right side, 6-4.
Which I think was just probably 4 of the best players of the last 10 years on one court. It was never going to be a bad match or a short match. Oh, that's a great lob from Chris.
Look at that. Boom.
Left
Over
side,
the head,
7-4.
dying in the back, not hitting the beam.
Perfect weight.
Yes, let. 7-4.
It's a good call by Cameron off a very tough shot.
And Manek was definitely looking for a no-let there. I mean,
Yeah, he was.
It definitely nicked, but from here, we can't tell if it rolled or if it popped up a little bit. It must have popped up. Oh, wow. That one rolled. So I think I would say the difference between this game and last game is the lack of errors from the black team. There's been some really good winners. There's been some from both sides. Cameron saving himself a walk up the stairs by chucking his broken string up into the gallery for someone to grab him a new one.
Yeah, I think this game is more of the match that we expected to see. So the first game was all Chris and Manek. The second game was much more the Australians. This game's tight with good play.
Oh, Cameron.
All right, Monik, right side. 8-4.
So they put in a substantial lead here, 4 points up.
But this is good play by both teams right now because there haven't been a lot of errors except a couple balls hit out on the back wall. Well, I say that, and of course there's an error right away.
Oh, I think they think the ball's broken.
Maybe that's what it was. We gonna play left?
Yeah, ball's gone.
All right. So that'll mean, I believe it's 8-4.
8-4.
Actually,
It's showing 8-5, but I'm pretty sure it's 8-4. Is it? Maybe it is 8-5.
I always thought the rule was youngest warms it up, but I guess it's whoever's feeling like it. Cam's obviously wanting to get out a little frustration.
Maybe it's the guy who's known for hitting it hardest
Yeah,
too.
well, there's a few of those on here.
It's true. Although Cameron does hold the world record.
so I hit. Was it 8-5?
It was not with a doubles ball. It was with a singles ball.
I mean, I don't want to know how hard he can hit it with a singles,
8-4.
with a doubles ball, but I will say that
see
when
who goes to
people,
serve.
people ask me how hard
Might have been
Monik
pocket
can hit it, he's not going to appreciate me saying this online, but he did actually break my arm with a squash ball.
What?
Unless,
Yeah. Mixed nationals about 10 years ago.
8-4.
Myself and Greg MacArthur were
Yeah, I
playing
think it is.
Monik and Narelle Krizak, and
Maybe-
I
I think
crossed
fi-
the left wall. He took a backhand in the middle
I
of the
must have
court,
hit.
and he caught me on the inside of my wrist. My racket was down, my wrist was facing towards the back wall. He caught me just on the inside,
was
and it
with the
cracked
ball.
with the ball on his backhand, and it cracked the bone.
Wow.
So
I'm sorry.
Cam, is it 8-4 or 8-5? Is it 8-4 or 8-5? I might have
think it's
pocket dialed
8-4.
on this.
It's 8-4.
I have
We should tell
8-5
them.
on this.
It's 8-4.
I have 8-5 on this, but I might have pocket dialed. 8-4. Sorry. No. I think it's 8-4. 8-4. Sorry, 8-4. Hey, just because it's your husband.
We knew.
8-4.
We knew there. I'm glad they got it right.
always nice to have a
Pocket
backup.
dialed.
Did you go tell him?
Yeah. That's a great
Nice
shot,
shot.
great take. Didn't want to let that, Coskelly just wanting to break his racket. But why take the let when you can put the ball into an out of position player? Oh, I guess his racket's broken. Not sure who's in the right corner, but I guess it's the stick guy.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's almost on successive points.
I don't understand.
We've had a racket break, a ball break, and another racket break.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be
Strings,
interesting
ball,
because it's
racket.
momentum here.
I think Monik's serving. All right, 9-4. 9-4. All right, back on track. All these rackets breaking, balls breaking. It's very confusing at this hour.
It's like Pineros. Sorry.
I don't know that that's Dylan Patterson, everybody. I don't know that he wants me to announce that with all that going out across the globe, but there we are. But he's saying the same thing we are. It was a lot of stoppages there where you have to keep your focus. But he does have the score right. It is 9-4 right now. It's not correct on your screen. It is
5-9.
9-4, 5-9 now. Nice shot by Koskelly behind the back. I mean, just watch on the replay where he's actually standing when he hits this, or where he's jumping from. I mean, he's
Ryan from the
behind
left,
the back
5'10".
of the service circle.
Australian team have really dropped off towards the end of this game,
11-5.
making a lot of unforced
And
errors.
out.
They've lost, we were talking about how they were taking on Manek and they were keeping the pace high. The black team have done a much better job of mixing it up, of moving the ball around like you described to them, and the Australian team just haven't really reacted to that. They've been very, they're scrambling, they're being reactionary, they've lost their plan. And they're getting moved around, and they're a long way down this game because of it. That's a great spot from Callis.
And what's interesting is, now, so
12-5.
how many points this game, especially in the last few, have Callis and Manek won by hard hitting, right? So the hard hitting was the Australian strategy for game 2, but they wanted to do it consistently. And now, where Manek and Callis are moving the ball around, their power seems faster.
They're also very much
13-5.
Every ball's going to Koscielny.
Yeah.
They've frozen Cameron out.
Well, I don't want to really bring this up, and I'm feeling bad, Susie. In my heart of hearts, I'm feeling bad. But I believe you said
I did.
13-5.
that it was going to be 3-1 with the orange team winning the match. And now if the orange team is going to win, it's going to be at least 5. Could be 3-1 the other way.
I mean, it could have been one of the worst predictions that I've made in a while. I have a word with the orange team, but yeah, I mean, credit to the black team. They, they came away, they've adjusted, they've come back out here, and they've executed their new game plan really well. They are being absolutely relentless with applying pressure to Koscielny. And at the moment, Pili doesn't know how to help him.
14-5,
and
game
so
ball.
there's no respite.
And here we are at game ball. This is actually turning out to be more decisive than the first game
15-5.
was.
Callis,
I mean, huge credit to Chris and Manek. After it was almost like they heard our commentary. I mean, they realized that they were getting blown out by just heavy hitting, and they did in fact change the ball into lobs and drops and angles and overheads and all of that, and not just trying to hit right through them. And it's hard sometimes to realize that, I think, but they did. They realized it. They put it into play, and boom, a very decisive game. Now the question is,
I'm gonna run out and get a beer.
was that an Australian team walkabout? Or have we got Manek
They didn't
Chris?
go walkabout. They were never in it. You can't go walkabout from somewhere you're not. They came out. They did not. They got worked. Team Black executed their game plan, and the Australian team they didn't have a sniff in that game. They couldn't. They didn't find a way to implement their game plan. They couldn't adjust the pace. That wasn't a walkabout. That was just much like the first game. They a better team took over the court.
Well, why don't we take a quick break for the 1 minute before we come back, and we'll be right back with you.
Whatever.
Just disappear. It's like, I need to pee. Sorry, I'll be right back.
Oh, you got the koozie seat. I like it.
Oh yeah, I just saw it.
Just now? Or?
Yeah, when we were talking. Hopefully you didn't say anything inappropriate.
What's your name? Lucas? Here you go, Lucas. You want to take over?
Do you like sushi?
I love sushi.
Can I get you a platter?
I'm totally fine. This will probably be over soon. Thank you though.
Here, I'll take it back. I'll take it back. But I got you if I need you.
Looks like it should be good. You can't really hear the line.
Okay.
You guys are louder than it.
So we get it louder than it's actually on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
2 games to 1.
Because you're used to computer on mixing it differently than the laptop.
Got it.
That's where I
Okay,
do it.
great. Great. Because I was like trying to shout over him because it was blowing here. Okay, we are back for game 4, where my prediction of a 3-1 to the Team Australia has gone rapidly down the toilet with a completely dominant third game from top seeds Manik Martha and Chris Callis. Let's see if the Australians can find a way back into this match.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be hard if there are a bunch of shots like that.
1 love. Wow. Hand out, 1-all.
It's a nice shot. Look at that. It's going to be an interesting
No
call.
Yeah, that's a no let.
I think they may have just overpowered him.
I mean, I think he got the only contact on it he could have made. Yeah, he's arguing that he kind of held up.
All right, 2-1. Let's play on. 2-1 left.
What do you think, Will?
I'm with you. I think it was a good call. No let.
Ryan from the right, 2-all. Kelly, right side, 2-all.
Makes me very nervous when he does that, the full swing with 3 people in the same spot. So I think the black team's decision to pick on the left wall is continuing.
And I see the Australians trying to get this back into a hitting match.
Right, the pace, yeah, but they've definitely gone back to keeping the pace up. There's less variation. As we said that, all 4 of them decided to just start lifting the ball. Now we're back in it.
Wow. Nice coverage by Pilley. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Great point. Great point. Little lucky with that, Nick. I don't know if that,
Nevertheless,
Yeah. Great choice. I mean, great weight.
Great weight. And he was going for a winner. Yeah. Maybe not that winner, but a winner for sure. And it's a demonstration of what you said about Chris. Just waiting. You sort of were sure that Manick was going to figure out a way to end that point.
Yeah.
And it was Callis that ended it.
Well, it's also, if he'd smashed that, 200 miles an hour down the line for the winner, we'd be like, whoa! And,
right.
It's a very simple shot that got the same job done. Oh. Wow. We thought Stout was far up the court earlier today.
But it's not just that, it's like two unbelievably hard hit balls followed by this gentle little caress into the neck. That's, seeing that contrast is again part of why he gets so much acclaim, because it's hard to do both of those at that level.
Yeah. See, that to me is, Ryan's trying to force that. That wasn't really on. He wasn't in a good spot. It wasn't a bad cross court, but he's looking for something that's just, it's not there.
Yeah, that's where it's really the pound would have been a better strategy there.
James, on that shot?
The timing of that looked down to me.
Wait, on the let call first. On the let call stroke. What was on the let call? Let. And on the two. No, play let, guys. Thanks. 5-2. 5-2.
So that was good. The way Dylan Patterson did that was he made very clear to the judges what we were appealing first, took them in order, then came to an ultimate decision.
Dylan's a great ref. He's very experienced. He's very decisive. He's the two things you want in a referee. He's consistent and he's articulate.
Out. 6-2.
One of the things I think is a really important quality in refs that's not always there is somebody who wants to just do the fairest thing, right? Get a resolution, not make an imprint into the match, not try to be too authoritarian, just make a decision that's fair. And he did that well. Oof.
He just mistimed that one.
Left side, 6-3. No, that was just a mistake.
Manick just suggesting that Chris doesn't make that kind of mistake and that we needed to check the ball. Chris disagreed. He said it's just a mistake. But this is a crucial part of this game, is to decide whether the black team's going to move away and pull. We'll be able to see the finish line of this, or if the Australian team are going to be able to find a way back into it.
Oh wow!
Hand out 4-6.
You don't get hit by your own partner that often, but every once in a while it happens.
Right side, 4-7. Ryan.
Coskelly just berating himself a little bit for a very simple, unforced error there. That's what he was looking for.
Yep, and they need to be very careful they don't let Callis and Mather get too far ahead here. It's a nice shot.
Five, 7.
If you are seeing little
Just let.
bumps and twitches with the camera, we are too, just so you know. We see it. We will be trying to attend to that throughout the match here, but for the moment we can still see everything, so we're going to just go with that.
Thanks. Oh, stop. Ryan, you stopped. You conceded the point. You turned around. You stopped the point.
Yeah, he definitely stopped the point.
You stopped playing. 8-5.
Again, that's a good call. That is what happened.
Yeah, I think Ryan's sort of frustrated because he doesn't feel like Manik or Chris had done the same when he felt like theirs were double bounces, but, you know, just because somebody else did it doesn't mean you want to. It's a great serve.
And a good return. He stuck with it.
Good.
Got it back. And
Great
look
spot.
at that shot. Right down the middle.
8-6.
Off the back wall, too. Boom, a winner down the middle off the back wall.
A little screen there from Kaskelly. I don't think it was intentional, but it's kind of what ended up keeping Manik's view from the ball.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, he's behind the service circle.
I mean, I said it's a big person's game.
Right,
He's,
9-6.
Manik's 6'4". It's not as far up there as it is when you're on that left wall, Will.
What, are you implying that I'm short?
I'm 6'1" and I'm short next to Manik.
Yeah, well, I'm 5 inches shorter than you.
That is good hands. That is such a pretty. That is a singles softball drop shot. 2 bounces before the sidewall.
Coming
Lovely.
in.
Don't see that too
7-9.
often in doubles. It's very
And
hard
out.
to control a ball to get it to do that and sit down 2 bounces before the sidewall.
But nicely done. And they've worked their way a little bit back into this, which is good because it was getting to be danger time. Wow, nice shot. Ryan Kaskelly coming alive here.
8-9. Wow. Eight, 10. Ryan from the left.
Well, the Australians got to just hang really, really tight here. They can't let, this is a 2-point lead. They really need this point. They can't let 3 points happen right here. It's a nice shot by Pillay. Great get by Manik. Some good defense and offense going on. Good dodge by Ryan of Cameron's shot.
Great. I was just thinking that. It's like sometimes you know that your job is just to not get hit by the ball and let your partner go get it.
This is a huge point, Susie. Oof. Good defense. Oh, and there it is.
Wow. Why does it look so much better when a lefty hits a cross-court volley, Nick? It just does, doesn't it?
Ryan
There's
from the
something
right.
just really satisfying
9-10.
about watching a left-handed player slap the ball into the Nick.
That was a huge, huge point. And so we're back to a 1-point game here. It's 9-10. Not 8-9, that's wrong. It's 9-10. Oof. Did he hit him?
Yep.
Racket, or he's looking at the racket. Did he hit him in the back?
Let ball.
I couldn't tell.
I think he got him in the back. But,
9-10.
yeah, when you stay in the middle, kind of the risk you run.
Nice shot. Wow. I had just said nice shot by Ryan to sort of get Chris to have to go to that back
And
wall,
out,
and then he hits
11-9.
a back wall winner. Beautiful ball. That's that backhand drop shot, which he can hit from deep in the court or front of the court, wherever.
Hey, when your technique's that good, you can hit it from anywhere.
Great scramble by Cuskelly. Still alive, it's still alive.
This rally is chaos.
Calling
Let
let.
ball. I didn't know. No one asked for a let. Play let.
What?
Only if they want one.
Nobody asked for a let, play a let.
Yeah, he was actually saying two different things that I think you know, but just so the audience is not confused.
Yeah.
He was saying he didn't stop it because nobody asked for a let, but now that we've stopped it,
However that lasts.
the ruling is a let.
Yes.
So he was saying two different things, but it sounded kind of funny. Wow. Ryan's been really having to scramble to stay in some
He's
points.
working hard out there. They have been pretty relentless with their attack of Ryan. Both Pili and Marnik trying to find a way into this rally.
This is a big, wow.
Oh boy.
I mean, he had as much side wall as he did ball. And got it to just scoot in there for a winner.
Right side, 11-10. 11-10.
We're either going to be welcoming Chris Callis and Manik Mather into the finals for tomorrow,
11-all.
or we're going to be headed to a fifth game. It's 11-all.
Call it well.
The Australians have hung in here. I have a feeling that, well, I was going to say I have a feeling that it's going to end in 4, which means Manik and Callis.
I agree.
But not with shots like that.
I mean, that's 2 in the dead bottom of the tin. Gives them a sniff.
12-11.
First lead of this game.
Yes, let.
Yeah, I mean, first lead in 2 games, right?
Wow. That's 3 quick errors in a row.
13-11. 13-11.
They were up 11-10, and now they're down 13-11. And by they, I mean the number 1 seeds. But there we go. You seem to look as though the ball went behind you there, Susie.
Right side.
At this point in the match,
13-12.
it's just a very odd tin to hit.
Well, it's really, I hate to say it, but the last 4 points have all ended with tins.
Yeah.
What's going on?
But, you know,
Nerves?
I mean, maybe it's a function of just when you're trying to hit it that hard. It's not something I'm familiar with, so I can't speak for what it feels like to just be swinging away like that. But. Wow.
Nice shot.
So dangerous on that, you know, his movement onto that was excellent. Look at that power movement, to have like the strength, like the body strength, to then have the slow hands on that.
That was an enormous point. Difference between 14-11, 13-12, or 12-13 now. Wow, a great return by Ryan, and now they've got triple game point to take this into a 5th.
13-14, game ball.
Wow.
I mean, if the Australians win here, Susie, your prediction of, you know, a 4 or 5 game match is looking pretty good. We won't even talk about the interim predictions that may not have turned out as well.
It's tough though. I mean, you look at the scoreline here. It's like the Australians have had to work very hard for the game that they won, and then to be in this game, and then the other games have been. Wow.
There we go.
Game 5.
We're headed for a 5th.
The crowd is excited.
Well, we are going to go try and fix that camera, just so you all know, to see if we can't get it so that it stops shaking and blinking out, because it was getting a little distracting.
We've got a number of kids sitting where there are wires and cameras, and I think that the more excited they get, the more our streaming becomes challenging.
So it's not just the power of those players, because I thought it was clearly once they started hitting it hard, that's where the blinking happened.
I don't think they're very. They have a lot of power. I don't know if they have that much power. I don't know if they're generating their own power source.
All right. Well, I've been putting you on the spot throughout this match. We're now headed to the 5th. What's the prediction? Are we going back to the Australians?
No, I'm reversing my prediction. Manik and Callis are going to come out. Manik's going to hit 3 or 4 winners to start the 5th game, and
this is a very specific prediction.
Buckle up. I'm a roller coaster. No, I just think looking at how this match has gone and the way that each game has been very similar, right? The games that Manik and Callis have won and the games that they've lost, they've followed similar patterns. And I think, you know, if Manik's looking at potentially his last game playing professional doubles, he's going to go out swinging. So the first 3 or 4 points of this game, I think, are going to be very indicative of where the match is going. So I'm predicting 3 or 4 really fantastic Manik winners to tee them up for a solid 5th game.
Well, my counterpoint to that might be that I agree with everything you said, except that because he's going to be swinging so wildly, that feeds a little bit into the Australian game plan.
Absolutely.
And so they could be like, yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Have at, yeah. Give him enough rope to hang himself type attitude for sure.
And they got 3 weird errors at the end of that game that were not sort of standard or typical.
If this ball broke in the 3rd game, if Monaco requested the ball, it's only if all 4 players agree.
He's requesting a new ball now. Then yes, all 4 players have to agree.
Surprise, surprise,
Shocker.
And just so you all are now seeing the court, we did actually find the loose connection there, so the camera should be good for this 5th and final game of our 2nd semifinal here at the 2023 David C. Johnson Jr. Memorial Squash Tournament at the Heights Casino in Brooklyn. I'm Will Carlin.
Mouthful.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. I'm Will Carlin. I'm sitting here with Susie Pierpont. We've been very excited to call both semifinals. The first semifinal was 3-love for the number 2 seeds, James Stout and James Bamber. And now we are looking at the number 1 seeds playing against the number effectively 3 seeds. And that's Chris Callis and Manik Mather playing against Ryan Cuskelly and Cameron Pilley. And we are now all set to begin the 5th game. Now the scoreboard obviously has lagged way behind here because the 4th game is in fact complete. We're at 2-2. And so we'll try and keep track of the score for you as we go along here, better than the score pad is doing at the moment. Just to explain that for a little bit, we have a Wi-Fi down here, but the Wi-Fi connection, we're in the basement, and it's sometimes a little bit tenuous. And so, and also if we have a lot of people who are on the Wi-Fi, because everyone here knows the Wi-Fi, it means that connection can sometimes take a little while to go through. So it updates sometimes sporadically and randomly. This is a longer bit of time. But anyway, we are about to start the 5th game. The Australians are in the orange. The number 1 seeds are in the black. And away we go.
I think, is that the first time we've seen them begin with their serve to
Chris?
Callis?
Yeah, it might be.
So I think we know the game plan.
We'll see if we can't get the sound of the balls for you guys in just a sec.
Super aggressive start here from the orange team. In fact, some great gets from Manik in the front left corner to stay in this rally. Wow. This is quite the start to a 5th game.
Well, not. What are we doing there?
Yes, let.
Yes, let. Okay.
Love all.
Well, they
Left
didn't.
side.
I think you and I are a little confused, but they all seem comfortable with it, so we're just going to go with that.
Yeah.
Love all. So, Susie, the strategy here for the team in orange, the Australians, to play the Callis, but once the points began, it didn't really necessarily seem that way.
No, I think as much as they would like that, they both just really, that's a great shot. See, honestly, this is why I'm saying I think Team Black is going to win, because this is where Chris Callis shines. Pressure's on, ball's coming to him. It is remarkable how many clutch winners he can hit at the most crucial times of matches.
And how few errors.
Oh my God, he can play the 5th game of a big match without a single unforced error.
It's out. Quick 2 points.
2-love.
And you all can see that the scoreboard now is caught up finally and is accurate at the moment. We'll keep you posted as we go along. It's a beautiful return of serve winner, making it 2-1.
2-1.
Out.
Yeah.
So 4 quick points there.
Hand out 2-all. Yes,
one of the things I think with Manik's career sort of is coming to an end at this tournament. One of the things we don't sort of talk about, or I haven't seen spoken about at least, is that Manik is our first world #1 doubles player from South Asia. We haven't had somebody of his level come from that part of the world before, and I think, you know, it's been so great to see that, and hopefully that leads to more people, you know, more college players, more people seeing, you know, what Manik's done, and want to come and join us on the tour and emulate some of that. Wow.
Wow.
It's Ryan from the right side, 2-3.
I think some of that comes with, you know, the change in college squash, you know, about 10 years ago when we started recruiting more heavily from the Commonwealth countries and from other, you know, from other strong squash nations. And it's sort of finally filtering down. It's just, you know, Manik will be sorely missed.
It's another winner from Callis there. But I like what you're saying. I agree with you. I think, you know, one of the things that it looked like for a while is the international players were taking over college ranks and going into the pros, that the doubles tour sort of looked like a little bit like it might become a sanctuary for the Americans who weren't good enough to play on the singles pro tour. And instead, it's really been the opposite. I think the doubles as a whole has gotten deeper and better played, and having more people from all sorts of countries coming. That's a bad error there.
It is, because that was wide open. It was the right shot.
5-2, left side.
It's a great get, and then just a rough error.
My high school squash coach, Ed Reed, who's since passed away, unfortunately, but he had done a huge analysis over about 30 years of coaching squash and keeping track of every one of scorecards from all of his matches, going back and looking and seeing these were all hardball matches played to 15. And he found that when the player who got to 5 first had about a 67% chance of winning the game. And if you got to 10 first, it went up to like 85%. And so he always had us do a little battle to 5, and here we are, where Callis and Mather have won that mini battle to 5. Look at that. Oh my God. Wow. It looked as though Ryan Cuskelly hit a winner, and they all stopped, but guess what? Callis got it back, and then moments later he hits his own winner. This is what you were saying about Callis being the underrated glue of this team, and in a 5th game he just comes
Callis,
up big.
Right side, 6-2.
And here they are at 6-2. That was huge. What a great point by Chris Callis.
Very, very unlucky for Cuskelly, right? That just, instead of rolling, it popped up.
6-2.
But that's why you chase every ball, because you never know. Oh, that catch the door.
Yep, it sure did. And that winds up being a quick and easy point for Ryan Cuskelly. I think we just lost perhaps the referee microphone, so sorry about that. That's where a lot of the court sound is coming from, and we will get that fixed. Our technician is going after it right now, but you'll hear Will and Susie talk and try and keep you posted as we go along.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. That backhand drop in the 5th game. I would love if somebody wanted to watch back some of Callis' matches and see what his winner-error ratio is on drop shots in the 5th game.
Yeah, well, you called this one, and it does seem to be getting away from the Australians. You've also said that if
I've made so many predictions, I can't be wrong at this point, Will.
I respect and admire the way you've done that, Susie.
Often wrong, seldom in doubt.
I was giving you full credit. I mean, hey. But this is, this did, at the end of the 4th game, you did say this is what you thought was going to happen. And this has been very impressive from the team in black. But the one thing you said was that Manic was going to hit a bunch of winners, and I actually think it may be Chris's.
I don't know if Manic's hit a winner yet. I think Chris has hit 4 or 5.
Chris has played spectacularly in this 5th game.
It's a great ball.
Hand out, 4-9.
The score on your screen is correct at the moment. So we're at 4-9. The Australians are not out of it yet, but the hour is getting late.
It's another Chris Callis winner.
And now if we're going by
4-10.
my high school coach Ed Reed's prediction, they've won the battle to 5, they've won the battle to 10, and the other team still hasn't gotten to 5. So the odds are with them. But you got to actually play all the way through.
I think the Australian team are going to come away from this and wonder, be very confused about how they managed to lose. Oh, gee. Had them at 3 games so decisively, but still be in a 5-game match. Because I'm confused. Are you confused?
4-10.
Well, it's really when things start to turn against
Hand
you,
out
they
11-4.
turn against you, and it's all going the number 1 seed's way. And the nice thing about that, especially for the Heights Casino crowd, is that this will likely not be Manic Mather's last match.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll get a final between the number 1 and the number 2 seeds, which is kind of what you...
I think you called it the fairy tale final for this tournament, right? We're going to have the Club Pro.
Who's never won a Johnson. He'll be the only of the 4 players who has never won a Johnson.
Yep.
Thanks, Emily.
With 2 Racket Club pros, the Racket Club member and the pro from the casino, I think. Fitting ending for Marnik.
Yeah, but of course, they still have to get through this match.
They do.
It feels very good.
You know what? Well, I'm going to make a prediction here.
Right side. 12-5.
Another one. Oh, Susie, what might it be?
I might go 2 for 5 if I make one now.
Out.
So assuming that Chris and Manic win this game and this match,
Left
what
side,
would you like to hear?
13-5.
I'm about to go down and talk to them. Any questions you have
13-5.
for Manic or Chris? You want me to ask about?
I'm not sure. That's a tough question. What would I ask them? I mean, I think I would love to hear Callis answer a question about how he handles 5th games so brilliantly.
Okay, you're on.
As
I'll
the
ask him
player
that
who's
question.
usually under the most amount of pressure on the court. You know, does he go into a 5th game? Does he tell himself something in particular? Because it's, you know, it's remarkable how good he is.
It's a great shot. Might be too little too late, but it's still a great shot. Look at that little touch.
13.
Really nice.
Down. Seven 13.
Now, I will tell you that the Australian pair will not be stopping trying. They will not consider this match over. They'll keep going.
Absolutely.
No let.
Great call from the kid in the front.
Left
He's
side.
obviously been watching a lot of
8-13.
squash this week.
Oh. Well, 13-6, I think, to 13-10.
13-9, I think.
9-13.
9-13. 9-13.
I mean, 4 points to draw it even, 2 points to finish the match. It's still tough odds. That's a great shot.
I mean, okay, enough of this.
Left side. 9-14. Match ball. Right side, 10-14.
Wow. Stop dead.
Nice get. They're staying alive, just barely.
Like you said, they're going to keep fighting. But they are under an absurd amount of pressure here. They are very much just reacting.
There it is. All right, Susie, I'm going to head down to the court.
All right, well, congratulations to our finalists, Manik Martha and Chris Callis. They return tomorrow for Manik's last match on the SDA Pro Tour in the final against second seeds James Stout and Jim Bamber. Will and I will be back tomorrow.
Now, congratulations. Just so you know, these guys may not hear it, but it's coming through well on the streaming, so, okay? So, first of all, congratulations. Congratulations to Chris and Manik. Chris, I'd like to ask you a little bit about the fifth game. Fifth game, you have a history of playing unbelievably well in fifth games, making almost no errors and hitting a whole bunch of winners.
Thank you.
And tonight, they were clearly trying to play you a lot in the fifth game, and you had to come up big. How do you do it? What are you thinking about to get yourself ready for the fifth game? Because you've done this throughout your career.
You know, it was tough today because they were playing so well, but honestly, I felt like we were on our game. It was just, we had some patches where we got a little bit away from it. We tried to go early a little too quick, and they took advantage. And I think going to that fifth, we still had a good amount of confidence. And, you know, I hadn't taken it short much in the first 4. But, you know, Monik sticks with me. He gives me so much support. He sort of quarterbacks me back there when I'm getting gassed. And I knew that if I was smart with a couple, they would be hanging pretty far back when I've just been blasting it all day long. And I knew, you know, he makes it easy. If I miss, I know that he's going to be right there to cover me if it's not in. And luckily they fell our way in the right spots. So, you know, we didn't want to go down that way in Monik's last event. So it gives you a little extra motivation when you're trying to get the big guy through. So,
Monik, come on over. And Monik, yeah, so that was not your last match. You will be here. You'll be here tomorrow.
It was close.
You'll be here tomorrow for the finals, kind of a dream final, number 1 seeds against number 2 seeds. And tell me a little bit about what this ceremony or the few words that some of the members said to you before this match and what it means tomorrow to be actually having made it all the way to the finals.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a special place. I haven't been back here in about 5 years, but you know, the relationships you make, even though I haven't been back here in 5 years, everybody's in touch and cares and so invested in my career as well, like so many familiar faces. That goes to speak to the New York squash community in general, but the Heights Casino has so much history here, and I'm just so lucky to be a local Brooklyn guy and somewhat part of this community.
Well, congratulations. You guys need to go. That was a 5-game match. You need to go take care of your bodies, but we can't wait to see you here again tomorrow, and we're really excited that the number 1 seeds have made it here against the number 2 seeds tomorrow. Congratulations. Manik and Chris. And we'll see you guys here tomorrow. Can't wait.